G'day, welcome back to the channel, Ginger Ninja's Movie Reviews. I am the Ginger Ninja and I am back with another trashy Tuesday movie review. But this time it's nothing but 90s. So I'm looking at trashy films from the 90s. Alright, so before we get into the movie, I do want to say a big thank you to all my new and existing subscribers. I know I mentioned it last week, but I do want to say a big thank you to Eric from Hey Internet Eric here, and of course Patrick from Have Cheated Review, who really pushed my channel forward to get to 1,000 subscribers. So haven't quite got there yet, but I do want to say thank you to those guys, and of course to everyone else. You know, you've got some great channels out there, the Night Watch Zone, you've got JT's Horror Discussions, Gorophobe, the Mad Bloods, rocking their shirt. You know, they've all been great supporters of the channel. Chris C, the Slasher Dude, many more. Too many to name individually, but yeah, and there's also people that don't have the channels that are just very supportive, you know. Just thank you so much. It truly means the world to me. Now, enough gushing, let's get into this. So.
Smacking on pretenders with a salty caramel growl. 50-second flicks, reviews hotter than the sun. Sword master underwater battles never done. Rocket shot, steady hand, cold as ice. Critics in the crosshairs, he don't think twice. Movie scenes dissected, sliced with precision. Beard game strong, legendary vision. Ninja, barrel pristine. Voice flashing waves, no denying he's a king. Salted caramel lessons, leaves him in awe. Movie review, assassin laying down law. Ninja, barrel pristine. Voice slicing waves, no denying he's the king. Salted caramel essence, leaves him in awe. Movie review, assassin laying down law. Bear oil packed, ready for the fight. Where the sharks afflicts, he conquers the night. From silver screens to ocean depths below. Ninja reigns, that's all you gotta know. Bear oil stash glistening in the light. Mixed vodka with knowledge crafted in sight. Shark fin haters, they scatter per sight. Ninja's wisdom, looking dynamite. Legends we crafted from tales people tell. Salted caramel dreams, see the vodka in juice shell. 60 seconds flat, analyzing with flair. Ninja forever, ain't nobody come.
So, Mindripper, or Wes Craven Presents Mindripper from 1995, directed by Joe Gayton. This film stars Lance Henriksen, Claire Stansfield, Giovanniribisi, Dan Blom, and natashagregsonwager. The plot, and look, this is it's nothing we haven't seen before. The government scientist attempts to reanimate a corpse they found in the desert, but end up inadvertently creating a monster. Yeah, nothing new there, right? Anyway, look, there will be spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen this one, it is on Tubi, at least here in Australia, so definitely check it out, see what you think of it. Anyway, Wes Craven Presents. Yeah, I get his name being attached, this would garner some interest, but seriously, that's about it. This film was originally devised as a second sequel to The Hills Have Eyes, but changed before filming began. It is, however, considered to be an unofficial sequel among fans of the film series. Why, I have no idea. Apart from the setting being an old nuclear storage or test facility, test site, there is nothing tying this to The Hills Have Eyes apart from name recognition. So, in a year where Pixar produced their first ever film, which was released by Disney, Die Hard with a Vengeance was the year's biggest box office hit, and Braveheart won the Academy Award for Best Picture, let's dig into the film that was Mindripper. Now, kicking off with the cast, and look, the film does have a solid cast, even if Lance Henriksen has admitted he's embarrassed by his involvement in this film, which is saying something given that Hellraiser film he was in. Anyway, he does bring a credible and seasoned presence to the film, and his performance is one of the more grounded elements, and he helps anchor the story in a human conflict. We also have Giovanniribisi playing his son in a smaller role, which helps add to the conflict, the father-son dynamic. And he does bring a youthful charm and charisma that kind of hints to his future success in other roles and films. The other cast members do a solid job, but there really is no emotional investment in any of these characters. Even Thor, that stands for something. They say it in the film, it's like transhumanoid organic revival. I don't know. Some generic sci-fi bullshit. But he's played by Dan Blom, and he is our main villain. And I use the term loosely because he isn't as so much a villain. He's an unwitting and unwilling experiment gone awry. And yeah, he can't help it. So he gives it a bit of a cheesiness to the role. Like his acting is not great. He does a good performance, but that's through his physicality. And that's the main selling point for his character. The way he moves, it's interesting. Like he's got this raw physicality, this animalistic behavior to him. And then we have natashagregsonwager. Her character and her acting was absolutely woeful. There was nothing realistic about her portrayal, and yes, realistic is relative when you have a mind-eating science experiment hunting you down, but this was just really, really bad. Now onto the directing and the writing, and look, from the get-go, Mindripper doesn't stray too far from the generic horror formula. Government experiment gone awry? Check. Strange father-son relationship? Check. Characters making illogical decisions? Double check. It's a very predictable story, and the dialogue is often clunky, and it's filled with your typical genre cliches that sound dated and forced. It's tough to get through some scenes. There are times when the movie struggles with pacing. There are long stretches where nothing much happens, and the characters spend a lot of the time wandering around the labs, which could have been more suspenseful if handled correctly, and as a result, the overall feel of the film does plod and feel a bit slow. And even though it's only 90 minutes long, it's a tough slog. There are many glaring potholes, crater-sized potholes. The movie opens with the scientist finding a random person out in the desert, middle of nowhere. And they decide to save him by using this experiment on him. So you find a dude out in the middle of the desert. Where did he come from? Did he fall from a plane? Was he on a hike without a backpack or anything? No identification. Where did he come from? Like, none of this is touched. Did people just randomly show up in the middle of a frickin' desert with a nuclear test site? Is that a thing? I don't think so. But maybe that is what ties it into The Hills Have Eyes. I mean, maybe he is actually one of the, cannibalistic mutants from The Hills Have Eyes, which is why the experiment went a little bit awry. Maybe that's it. And that could have tied it into The Hills Have Eyes, of course, but you've got no knowledge of that. Unless you know it was supposed to be a sequel to The Hills Have Eyes, you've got nothing to tie to that at all. So yeah, directing and writing, it's average to say the best. So now onto the effects, and I'm going to throw in the setting as well. So credit where credit is due. The underground lab setting is effectively eerie, and some of the darker scenes successfully evoke a sense of dread. The practical effects used for the creature are not groundbreaking, but they do have a certain rawness that can appeal to fans of 90s era practical effects, where the tongue thing lashes out. You can tell it's a dummy that it's going into, but it looks okay. The gore isn't over the top, but it's enough to satisfy horror fans who appreciate old school makeup and effects. Now on to rewatchability, and have I seen this before? Yes. Will I watch it again? Probably not. It's not that it's bad, it is, don't get me wrong, but it's not so bad it's good either. It misses a lot of what could have made the film stand out more, making me want to go back and rewatch it. So yeah, not likely. Overall, look, I first saw this film on pay TV, and like most, I saw the name Wes Craven and thought, this has got to be good. You know, horror and sci-fi fans may find this to be worth a watch, particularly those who enjoy creature features set in isolated environments, but for the majority of us, we need a little more to keep us invested in this film. Overall for a score, Mindripper gets a 4 out of 10. And there you have it. That is my review of Mindripper, or Wes Craven Presents Mindripper. The Hills Have Eyes, Part 3, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, not a great film, but it's certainly got a lot of trashy elements to it. I can understand why Lance Henriksen is somewhat embarrassed by having his name attached to this, but you know what? It's not absolutely terrible. But yeah. Anyway, look, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please do hit that thumbs up button, it'd be much appreciated. And of course, if you've made it all the way through, you might as well hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I do release a new review. For November, I am doing nothing but 90s, so I'm looking at 90s films. You know, now I won't be doing Franchise Friday. Something else is taken over. This is just not franchise, but just 90s movies that I wanted to look at. You know, they're more standalone films. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. We'll have more trashy films coming up. There's one coming up next week, which is, well, you'll have to tune in to find out. Anyway, look, before I dribble on too much, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great day.